I just love tassels, and all you need are some threads, a comb. This is 0.6 wire. I've also got some 0.4. Obviously you have an ear wire or ear wires for both ears. A card, I'm using the back of my business card, some sellotape, your usual wire working pliers, and a pair of scissors. So I'm going to show you a very simple tassel. So I've already grouped together all the colours that I want. So I've chosen all these blends of colours to go together, and I get the ends of all the threads and bring them together, and I'm going to sellotape them so that they stay together onto the card. So just put them on the card, and of course the length of the tassel will be dependent on the card you're going to wind around. So once you've got them all together, wrap and wrap, and I'm doing 25 times. I just found that that's the size of the tassel that I wanted with the thinness of this thread that I'm using. It's cotton, just cotton sewing thread. And I've kept, as you see, I've kept all the threads inside the box so that they don't spin all over and roll onto the floor. So there's 25 wraps. Cut it off from all the spools, and now I'm going to get a bit of the 0.6 wire, so I'm using gold plated, and I'm just going to cut a length, and again the amount of wire is up to you because you might want to add beads, but you know, sort of 4 inches or so, 4 to 5 inches, and I'm just going to bend it in half and then slide it through underneath those threads, and then you've got both ends protruding together. Now just get some pliers and squeeze those, you know, where it sort of meets. Squeeze the wires together because you just want them to be a little, you know, to be gripped and meet up at the top of the threads with 2 lengths protruding. So there you've got the top of your tassel, and now you can use your scissors, just place it underneath all the threads and cut through all of them, and you'll have the 2 sides then of the wrap, which will create the tassel. So hold all those threads together, make sure they don't sort of pull through, and now we're going to bind the top of the tassel. So this is 0.4 wire. I'm going to cut a length, again probably about 3 inches or so of this very fine binding wire. Grip it at the top, so grip all the threads at the top and sort of pinch it just under where those wires are protruding, and then wrap as tightly as you can 1 wire around the top, and then grip so that you can hold one sticking out and then the other again on the opposite direction. So you've got both wires gripping the top of that tassel, and then cross those wires over, and then you're going to twist them together to secure. So twist and twist and twist, and make sure that it becomes sort of nice and tight right up to the tassel itself. So you want it to be a nice even twist. So twist those 2 wires, and that's going to sort of secure that tassel. And if you're left over with a sort of an end, you can just sort of snip that off and tidy it up. And I never like leaving wires sticking out because they can sort of, you know, pick up on clothing if you're wearing it on your hair. So I'm just going to create a tiny little sort of spiral, a tight spiral with that twisted wire. I mean, that's one of my trademarks, spirals. I just love spiraling wires. So you can of course just cut it off and then smooth it over, but I'm just creating a little spiral. It creates another little feature or decoration, and fold it down and on top of the wrap, and there you've got a tiny little feature. So now go to the other end, the top end, and you're going to wrap 1 wire around the other to secure the top. So grip it there. Of course you can use your pliers just to hold it, I'm just using my fingers, and then just wrap it. You can just do one wrap. I mean, if you want, again, you can make another spiral with that end, but I'm going to cut it off for this one. Each time you make a little tassel earring, you can, change it and put spirals here and beads there. And now just make sure it's completely sort of secure. Using the comb, you're going to comb out that tassel to make it nice, and none of the threads should be all caught up or tangled. And this is where you can become the hairdresser. I cut myself a template out of cardboard because I've already made one and I want the other one to be exactly the same. And I like to cut my tassel with a bit of a curve to it. It just gives it a nice sort of shape. I mean, of course you can cut it completely straight, but it's just something I like to do. So I've cut myself a little template out of card, and then I'm going to use that to know what length I want to cut the fringe of this tassel. So I'm cutting around and around with my scissors to make sure that it's the same length as my first earring, and also give it the same look as the first earring. Now, I promise you, I'm no hairdresser, but I'm not very good at doing these little fringes, so I often have to go back again and again and just do a little bit more pruning and shaving off at the ends. But once you've done that, you now just want to make a loop at the top. Now you can put a bead on there first before you make your wrap loop, but for this one I'm just keeping it really simple. So I'm going to create a link. So I'm going to be a wrap link. So I'm just curling it round to start my wrap link, but I'm going to fix it straight on to my ear wire. So I'm not wrapping it yet. I'm just going to place the ear wire, the fishhook ear wire, straight onto that link that I've started, hold it, and now with my the ends of my chain nose pliers, I'm going to wrap. So it's a wrap loop just under that link, and make sure that it's wrapped once or twice. And then again, I fancy putting a little spiral in. So make a little hook with the tips of your round nose pliers, then squish that down, and then curl and curl and curl around to create a little tiny spiral with the end of that wire. But of course you don't need to do that. You can just cut it off at that point and then make sure the ends are nicely flattened. But it's so simple. That's as simple as it is. It's just making a tassel, and you can use any threads that you want. The thicker the threads, obviously the thicker the tassel. And you've got an instant pair of tassel earrings that will go with the outfit of your choice.